all good. What up? What up, my guys? Welcome to another show, man. We had the double intro today, man. But what's up, my guys? We're trying to get some cash here every single day. My guy Shark coming off a 3-0 day, man. We saw it well. Delene's cashed as well, man. But let's do it again today, my guys. I'm your host, obviously. J Money is Money. My co-host here at Sharks and Sports 88 on Twitter, my guys. What's up with you, Shark? Everything cool with you?
Yeah, taking a breath. Apologies about that intro, guys. We're sitting here playing the violin in the keyboard, and I forgot to close YouTube on my screen, so we're simulcasting in the background here. But, of course, a beautiful Tuesday morning. It is 11:01 Eastern, 10 a.m. Central. 4-game card tonight. A lot of angles, a lot of stuff to discuss. This is a tough card. We will have one official. J Money, lead the way. Let's get in there.
Let's get in there, my guys. It's only 4 games, man, so let's get in here. You see what I'm saying? Let's go over here to the streets of Washington here. Washington, D.C. We got the Wizards here laying 5.5 points versus the Pistons. Let me see. It might be a couple of sub-5s out there, but total sitting at 221 here, Shark. How you looking at this game? The Wizards have beaten the Pistons 5 straight times. Do you think that it keeps going here, or do you think that the Pistons can keep it going versus the Wizards?
This is incredibly difficult stuff. And, you and I were talking about this off the record last night extensively. And I do want to make that point to people in the chat. You guys talk about it with your friends and whatnot. Jay and I go off the record and really get into the details on this. And it's just hard to find an angle in this game. And the first standout point here is line functionality is just not applicable whatsoever. This is what I call a scatter plot of chaos. And when I say that, what I mean is that when the line moves in a certain direction, which indicates strength to one side, it should win, and it doesn't. And then it will move to the other side and it won't hit. And then all of a sudden it'll hold and it will hit. And it's just very, very inconsistent stuff. And as you mentioned, Washington is on a dub 5 here straight up against Detroit. But the ATS environment is way, way different. If you really start going through these games, go back to early last year. Washington at Detroit did lay 5 points. And they won the game by 3 points in overtime. So it was a crazy, crazy sharp line. Then they came back home. Washington actually came down to 3.5. It was a short figure indicating Detroit's strength, and Washington covered it 103.94. Slightly later on, Washington at home, even shorter, pushed a 3. And then it came back. Detroit was favored for the first time all year. And as we suggested numerous times, Jay, Detroit does function far better as an underdog. They were a favorite in that afternoon late season, and they did lose the game outright at home, 100-97 as a -4 favorite. And I think there's just a lot of ambiguity in this game. And I think it's really dependent on Detroit's new roster. You obviously remove Jeremy Grant. You bring in Bogdanovich, 33-year-old guy who obviously played with the Jazz. This is a huge, huge adjustment for him as a professional and a person, both within the game of basketball and in his lifestyle living up in the Detroit area. You insert Jaden Ivey, obviously a blue chip product out of Purdue, Jalen Duran, a couple other guys. This is not your Detroit Pistons from last year. And you've seen it on the previous 2 road games. Absolutely annihilated at the Knicks. I had that wager incorrectly. And then a complete, utter melt at Indiana in the third quarter in a game we thought they would bounce back, and we thought Indiana was really a bottom feeder. Who's the bottom feeder here? Maybe it's Detroit. Their only win and cover of the season came against the Orlando Magic. And now you come back, you get a strong figure for Washington. Again, line functionality has not played a role here, but the line is on Washington. And again, Washington showing signs potentially with this roster, far more professional unit, far more experienced. And I do think to myself, Kristaps Porzingis, Bradley Beal, late 20s, these guys are in their prime. They're in a position to turn up this year. I think this team might be more sustainable than the Washington team we saw last year that came out hot and then really faded off in the last third of the season. I think there might be more sustainability here with this team. Of course, coming off a road loss and overtime non-cover. So they did cover the 48 at Cleveland, which is impressive in and of itself. I think Washington could take care of business here tonight. I got nothing official, but the environment and the line are on Washington here.
Yeah, that's a good point there. It's a tough game for me, man. Well, obviously the Pistons have looked bad. The Wizards, they've looked a lot better as well, man. So this is a tough game for me here. I don't have much on this game because I could see it literally going either way. Would like to lean towards the Pistons here, but wouldn't be surprised if the Wizards clean them up, my guys. Not enough on this one for me to make a wager my hard-earned money on. Let's go over here to the streets of New Orleans here. We got the Pelicans getting 4.5 points versus the Dallas Mavs in this one, my guys. This total came cratering down, Sharp. We was talking about this one last night. It was sitting at 225. That under must have been the look on this one, my guys. Come all the way down to 225.5. Steam down 5 points. No Brandon Ingram in this game. We know Zion's a little banged up as well. What do you think here? You think the Pelicans can bounce back over that overtime home loss versus the Jazz? This is home game too, Sharp.
Yeah, again, this is tough. Line functionality does not apply here either. The line is all over the place. And, of course, that led us towards the total. And I said, going through some of my mathematic processes here, I thought the over was the look. Of course, that was accounting for normalized rosters. Without Brandon Ingram, this entire environment shifts completely. And I think Zion Williamson is a game-time decision tonight. You go back to last year, the totals are flip-flopping. I'm not entirely sure how much that applies here, but the effect of flip-flopping is much more than just statistical flow on a graph. It's the psychology of a matchup. It's the coaching and it's the players, particularly within the same division. And you go back to last year, you go through these totals. I mean, they were just egregious gaps. The first one last year was 108.92, a significant under, and then it came back. And Dallas put up 139 points, 130 to 107 on the road. A game that Dallas shot 68.7% from the field. Let me repeat that. 83 shots. 68.7% from the field. I mean, this is ridiculous stuff. And they shot over 50% from three. Just an absolute heat check for 48 minutes. Then it came back. It came down again, super low, 107.91. And then the final matchup, it came way up again in New Orleans, 125 to 118. And Dallas shot the lights out of the gym yet again. So now when you see the steam coming down on this is leaning under now. It's going to be tough stuff. The line is giving you nothing. The line is on Dallas, but I do fear with the new roster group and no BI, we really are just kind of hanging on the ledge of the unknown here.
Yeah, that's a good point there. It's a tough game for me. We know the Mavs coming off a huge scoring game, right? What they put up 137 points versus the Grizzlies. And usually the way I'd like to look, especially when if you're in your same home gym, you can get hot. You can do it again. But when you're switching gyms, guys, you're due for a letdown from that shooting dispersion, right? It's an outlier. They got hot, right? But that was the last game. Now the Pelicans here, I can tell you right now, the players are talking about playing better defense in this game. So this is a game where obviously the info, listen to the players' quotes, they're telling you that they're going to focus on defense here. We know they just gave up a 122 versus the Jazz team and lost in overtime because they weren't playing defense. Mavs are playing good defense, but also due to let come down offensively. I agree with this move down from 225 to 220.5, my guy, especially with Brandon Ingram. No Brandon Ingram out there. I heavily lean to this under. I see a defensive type of game. Pelicans know if they want to stay in here, especially with a hot Mavs team, you got to come in here and bring the defense. That's all they talked about. Larry Nance Jr., Jose Alvarado, Trey Murphy. That's what they have off the bench here, guys. So I'd be looking at the under 220 here. Obviously lost some value, lost 5 points of value from last night. So I'm sure that the sharp under guys hopped on that one real quick, Shark. Let's go over here to the streets of Oklahoma City here. We got the Thunder getting 9.5/10 points versus the Clippers. It's a lot going on in this game, Shark. You like anything in this spot?
No, I don't. This is going to be some tough stuff. I think the first snapshot point here is you have the Clippers on the road. Go through the Clippers road games. We got two of them. They're basically both pushes. We did hit the first one by a hook. Of course, that was a CLV spot. 6-point win on a 5.5 at the Lakers in the opening game of the season. Came back at Sacramento, -3, won the game by 2 points. So now this is your third road game of the year. -10, getting steamed down by a hook to 9.5. I think this is going to be crazy sharp. There is line functionality within this matchup. If you go back to last year, Clippers did not perform particularly well in the first two matchups against Oklahoma City. Of course, no Kawhi Leonard. Paul George going through the motions early season at Crypto.com. -12.5, won the game. A really lackluster one, 99-94. A game where they were down 8 points going into the fourth quarter and really turned it on to backdoor the game. The line came down short at Oklahoma City, -4.5. Should have hung around 8, 9, or 10. It was line functionality. It was a revenge game. Oklahoma City did cover and win outright, 104-103. Then the final game of the entire calendar year, April 10th, the Clippers laid the absolute hammer down on Oklahoma City in a game the Clippers needed to win to get into the play-in tournament and had extreme motivation. An absolute demolition blowout, 138-88 on a strong minus 11.5. So the line did tell a story all three matchups there last year. So if we're tracking that and we're going to allow that to be our capping point, this line is holding strength to the Clippers on the road. And you look at Oklahoma City coming in here. Oklahoma City is also very, very sharp on the number. Oklahoma City, 2 covers on the road. Tight stuff within 2 buckets of the spread. Did cover both at Minnesota, 115-108. And, of course, we had them at Denver plus 8.5 to cover 122-117. Now they're coming off of a non-cover on a really, really tight line against Minnesota, a 10-point loss on a 9. And it really does come to the center of this little mini conversation on this game. I think this game is literally right on the number. It's incredibly difficult stuff.
Yeah, that's a good point, man. Obviously, for OKC, there's a lot going on, man. It's a tough game to bet, to cap, all that good stuff, man. No SGA, no Giddey in this one. Seeing in the chat, maybe they're saying Paul George is out now. Yeah, so, I mean, he doesn't have a fucking – I mean, he could. I can't say that he doesn't, but they know that they're probably trying to integrate Kawhi and Wall even more, so they're just going ahead and sit Paul George in this one, guys. The Thunder are obviously, you know what I'm saying, taking their time with SGA and Giddey. One of the tank masters, right? So it's a tough game for me. It is interesting, though, that it only went down from 10 to 9.5 with Paul George out. I think that's very interesting in my opinion. Obviously, he means at least 2 to 3 points to the spread. They only moved it down a half point there. So maybe the Clippers still take those guys to Smack City over there. Obviously, they were down 2 of their most important players. Still can't forget that they're without Holmgren as well. You still can't look OKC. They have some scores over there, but how deep the Clippers team is, coming off a loss almost by 20 points to the Suns, even without Paul George, I could see them really smashing the Thunder here today. It's nothing that I'm taking, laying 9.5 early on the road here, but the way I'm looking at the game is Clippers are nothing for me in this game, my guys. Let's go over here to the streets of Phoenix real quick, Shark. Like the first half in this one, man. The sun is out. It was raining all day yesterday, but woke up and the sun is out today, Shark. Went back and looked at it. These motherfuckers have covered the last 7 times in the first half versus the Warriors. No matter where they win the game, they lose the game, they come out in the first half with juice. Also, you look at the basketball element as well. Warriors starting out 3 straight home games. Now, first time heading on the road. I think the Sun, and they're going up against the best defensive team they've seen all season. Went up against 3 bottom feeders defensively, the Nuggets, the Kings, and the Lakers. Now we're going up against the Suns, who will bring the defense here. Give me Suns first half, -1/2 official play, Shark.
Yeah, I like it. I think it's a very sustainable environment. Of course, you mentioned the first road game for the Dubs. My official play, and we're not bringing out a hat for this one because it is a first total of the season, and we're taking over in this game at 225.5, 1 unit. And there's a lot going on with regards to the evaluation of this total. The Dubs are 3-0 this season versus the over. Phoenix is 3-0 to the under. So you say to yourself, which is going to flip? Are the Dubs due for an under, or is Phoenix due for an over? And when you start to go through the numbers of this game and you look at what's been going on here, the Dubs are going to pace this game because this is a Dubs line number for the game ATS. If you go through last year with the line number, Phoenix at home did lay 3 points and win the game 104-96 in a very low-scoring game. It came to the Dubs in the next matchup, -7 at home, a 10 gap. And the key point here is that the Dubs went from scoring 96 points to 118 points as a correlation to the ATS line coming their direction. We're going to throw out a game where Phoenix was -6 on Christmas Day because this was the only non-line functionality position of the entire environment. And I think if you really go through the psychology, it was Christmas Day. So for whatever reason, CP3 and the boys just didn't bring their energy. So we'll come back to the last matchup of the year. It was a low-scoring game, 107-103 on a Phoenix -5 road. So staying with the course of action of the ATS line, when Phoenix is laying 5 on the road and they come home shorter at 2.5 and it's getting steamed even further down, this is a Dubs game ATS line. And again, the last time it moved to the Dubs did score 118 points here. Final point on this total. The last game, as I mentioned, was 107-103 under on a 222 line. It was a shooting outlier. The teams were abysmal from the field. Both teams shot under 45% in that game. Now the line comes up to 225. Dubs are going to track meet. Dubs are not playing championship defense. Dubs are integrating a lot of young players, giving their second unit guys a lot of run. These are not old hat Draymond Green, slow down Iguodala, Maurice Spates type of players. These are Jordan Poole, James Wiseman, Moses Moody, Jonathan Kuminga. These guys want to get up and down. They want to run. Steph Curry's not defending. They're coasting it out. This game is going to have points. Phoenix will run with them. Phoenix will pace up. And key point, if the Dubs are not putting any sort of defensive pressure on this, Phoenix can shoot incredibly, incredibly efficiently. Official play, 1 unit, 225.5 over.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, you mentioned the Dubs not playing championship defense. You give up 125 versus the Kings. It's not that the Kings are a bad team, guys. Just they were up that game by 20 points. Gave it up in the fourth quarter. I think it's a real key point there what Shark is saying, and it's something that we have to keep an eye on here as we go forward as well. These aren't the same teams of the Bulls as well. They don't necessarily want to come out and smash. These aren't the type of players that want to come out and smash every single game. They pick and choose their spots. Now, I agree this is a spot that the Warriors will probably get up, but the fact that they're coming off a long championship run, guys, you just got to look at it psychologically early season. That's not the time when you really want to turn up. You want to turn up late January, early February, when you know it really matters, right? I mean, they could start out the season 10-10. If they go 50 and 12 the rest of the way, see what I'm saying? They'll take this shit every day, my guys. So I just feel like from the early season, doing the championships, we did this with the Bucks as well. We just kind of noticed a bit of complacency early season. They're going to get up versus certain games, but still, it's just really hard to ramp back up to get back to championship form that quick, especially if you have the really short off season as well, my guys. So it's really like it's bit that they're not taking these games as serious. They could get hot from three and come and win this one. It could be a third quarter, right, Shark? That's what they do. But I'm taking the Suns here in the first half. I think it's really sharp taking them in the first half. Nothing's guaranteed, but no matter the result of the game, in the last 7 games, they've covered the first half spread, the Suns have. So whatever reason, they come out, throw them everything in the first half, and then if they do tank the game, it's going to be in that third quarter or possibly fourth quarter. CP3's a bit of an older player as well, could possibly run out of gas trying to chase Curry all night, my guys. But for Suns, first half for me, -0.5, my guys. Any other thoughts?
Just another point on that. I do think if you go back to Phoenix's only home game of the year, they did come out horribly against Dallas. And I think that was, of course, the opener. It was a bit lackluster, of course, having gotten hammered by Dallas in Game 7 of the previous season. And I think that will flip tonight. I think that they need to come out with more passion, more energy. And one final point on the game line. When you do look at what happened in their only home game, that Dallas line was 4.5. It did finish 107-105. It was a 1-bucket line. I think this game line is really a 1-bucket line. And I think, Jay, on the first half, you're definitely onto something there.
Yeah, man, I like it, man. I'll be honest, personally, I still lean the Suns full game as well, my guys. Last night it was at 2.5. It's come down to 1.5, 2 at the sharper books, but money's gonna come on the Warriors here as a dog. We expect it as well, my guys. Obviously, the Warriors as a dog is gonna catch a lot of attention. It doesn't mean anything. I mean, obviously they have to win the game, so it's either they're gonna win or they're going to lose it. I'd still lean Suns in this one full game. I think that the not the championship style defense from the Warriors here is what plagues them in this one, my guys. But real quick, let's talk about some shirts, man. You got the shirts on sale. Some people are taking advantage. They realize, hey, look, this may be one of the last chances to get a shirt. $10 off a shirt, man. You can get the JS Shark shirt for $15, and it still comes with a free pair of shades, my guys. Small all the way up to 3XL. Got Smack City shirts, Us Against The Bookies. Let's get some cash shirts as well, my guys. Appreciate everybody for supporting. See what I'm saying? Try to get them shirts if you can, man. But let's talk about some picks here real quick, Shark. What you like on today's card?
Yeah, absolutely. We appreciate you guys supporting the shirts, the lifestyle, the passion, the energy, and everything. We try to bring you guys the best analytics, hype, conversation on a daily basis. Today is much more of a conversational day. There's not a lot of access on this board. Of course, I am not playing this total because we're forcing action. It's the best spot that I've found on the board today, and it is an official play. One top play, 9 words, a lifestyle. Ride the wave or get out of the water. Over 225.5. Dubs at Suns, 10 p.m. Footprint Center. Phoenix, Arizona national game, TNT Sports. Let's turn up, let's run, let's shoot the lights out of the gym, both sides of this game, and let's dominate. J Money, a pleasure. Big card tomorrow. We'll be back 11 a.m. Eastern. Close them out. Let's dominate.
Yeah, I didn't even know they changed the name of the arena over there, my guys. Footprint Center over there, man. Let's hopefully they put their footprints on this game. Give me the Suns in the first half, minus the half, my guys. Still lean that way full game as well. I do think they come in here, clean them up, take this game a tad more serious, but I will go official with the Suns in the first half. They're 7-0 against the spread last 7 games versus the Warriors in the first half. I think it goes on even more here. They seem to be a tad more locked in here to start the season, my guys. Maybe the Suns try to send a message here. They're more of a regular season type of team. Then they get in the postseason. That's when Chris Paul seems to run out of gas, my guys. So you're gonna take the Suns in the early regular season here. Give me the Suns first half, minus the half. Y'all hit us up for the shirts, man. DM myself or Shark. You see what I'm saying? $15 for the Jay and Shark shirts collab. My guy went 3-0 for you guys yesterday. Know you got some cash. Get a shirt with the bookies money, my guys. Not with your hard-earned money. For the bookies money. You see what I'm saying? jmoneyismoney.com or DM one of us. It's all love, man. It's Us Against the Bookies. Let's get some cash, my guys. We're back tomorrow.